Itself of trans struggles, which, I mean, Susan Stryker certainly has a brilliant sort of introductory history to transgender folks in this country, and because it is so new of a movement in many ways, an outgrowth of the gay and lesbian movement, and in terms of people feeling the wherewithal to come out themselves as trans and mobilize, is a long history, including predating Stonewall, mid-60s, the Compton cafeteria riots in San Francisco, which transgender folks basically fought with the police. But lasting groups hadn't come out of that. The way I see things happening now is that, first of all, people have to understand gender identity issues as beyond those who necessarily even identify as trans, that this is something that speaks to a much larger issue in our society that trans folks are at the, bear the greatest brunt of, and that is that people don't come in two flavors, that people are not either male or female or comport themselves one way, and that we really need to reject gender norms, that gender norms are part of what we are fighting as a movement. The idea that men should look and act a certain way and women should look and act a certain way.
What you just said there, could I have you repeat that again?
I don't know that I can.
Or something similar to it.
Yeah, I just think that, gender variation, that people not fitting into an easy binary of either male or female, or that what that even means, which should be questioned and probed and taken apart, really. This idea that men should have an emotional range all the way from A to B, and women are just supposed to be, emotive and verbal, and and petite and pretty, and whatever this thing called feminine is, and men are supposed to be, I don't know, swaggering, cocky, and confident and aggressive. These sort of simplistic notions that we've all had hammered into us in subtle as well as very unsubtle ways are being rejected by huge numbers of people in this country. And yet, formally, certainly legally, and in terms of social stigma, we are so far from where we need to go. I mean, you and I were just having a conversation about what it is to walk through the world, and as a trans woman, and I said to you, and I honestly believe this, I don't know what it would be like if I could ever let that roll off my shoulders, that people would look at me and, as you said, expect me to feel shamed and be hostile to the fact that you're not projecting back a shame that you're supposed to feel for not conforming to this very rigid norm. I have nothing but, respect for anybody who can deal with that. You can't but help be like, that's some tough shit to deal with. And we all know what it's like in some ways to be pissed on, which enables all of us to access that little thing, even if we haven't directly experienced all of that. I mean, frankly, I have experienced having cops called on me in Grand Central's bathroom for walking to the women's room because I'm 5'11" and I don't look particularly femmy, and on certain days, I guess, whatever. These don't show. But, I mean, and it's humiliating, and I'm a confident, cocky asshole, sometimes. I'm certainly not somebody who's a wilting flower, and to have the cops called on you, or people look at you like you're somehow getting over on them something, that you're passing as something that you shouldn't be, or you don't look appropriately, whatever, it feels crappy. I can only imagine, what it is to, like everybody who looks at you looking at you like that, or a lot. And part of what I talk about in the book is, what is that about? Why is that not just simply reducible to a few people with crappy ideas? Why do those ideas dominate? What are the material and ideological functions of gender norms in our society, in a class society? Because I think we need to understand that if we're going to be able to defeat it. I think the system requires divisions amongst us, and the system requires gender norms in order to sustain unequal pay scales, unequal everything in society, and a family structure as we have it. That it serves a material as well as an ideological function. It isn't just about a few people who have religious ideas and somehow dominate, those ideas came to dominate over the rest of us. I think it's a little bit more rooted, not just in our culture, but in the way that our system is organized.